Hello, welcome everyone to the second episode of Magnify Podcast. And today we have someone very unique, Divyam Rastogi. He is an IIT Delhi alumnus. He did his MBA at Wharton, then he joined Bain, and then currently he is Chief of Staff at Google. So, welcome, Divyam.
Thanks, Pranav, for having me. Excited to chat with you. I'm from Delhi originally, and currently I stay in San Francisco with my wife. And always interested in the miles and points. I think it was great meeting you, so I think that story will be interesting.
Correct. I mean, apart from his professional career, Divyam is points and miles geek, and he is also a miles millionaire. So I will talk about that in a bit. But before that, Divyam, my first question to you would be how did you get introduced to this miles ecosystem? What brought you in this ecosystem?
Yeah, actually, so really long history. Immediately after undergrad, I joined management consulting. And that's when I started traveling quite a decent bit in India. And I remember back in 2014, I'd applied for the Amex, I think Jet Airways card at that time.
Yeah.
So that was the one where, I would typically do all my spending and then I would redeem it quite a bit. But at the time I thought were, good deals in domestic flights, like Delhi, Mumbai, or, similar types.
Got it.
So I think that's how the introduction happened. But once I started living in the US, obviously amount of travel increased. So
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out a way to make that more, comfortable, also cheaper. So I think it was like a natural fit. Yeah. But there wasn't like one big moment. It was a pretty organic thing
Got
over
it.
many years. Yeah.
Got it. Understood. Understood. Thanks. So today we will hear about SAS challenge from Divyam. So Divyam is one of the 900 people who did this SAS challenge. Now let me give you a brief about this SAS challenge, and Divyam, please feel free to pitch in between if I miss anything. So Scandinavian Airlines, also known as SAS, they had this challenge in 2024, I think end of 2024, around September or October, that you travel 15 airlines out of 17 airlines of SkyTeam, and they would make you a millionaire. So they will give you 1 million points as soon as you do. And I think they had around 2 months period for everyone to complete this challenge.
Yeah.
And Divyam was one of the person who did this challenge. And the reason I asked him to join this podcast is because he completed this challenge in record 9 days. So basically, he traveled around 45,000 kilometers. He completed a full circle to the earth in just 9 days. So the amount of travel he did is almost like for 9 straight days, he was doing Mumbai to Delhi round trip twice a day. So imagine he's starting in the morning, Mumbai, Delhi, Delhi, Mumbai, once again Mumbai, Delhi, Delhi, Mumbai, and consecutive for next 9 days. That is the kind of travel he did.
That sounds too painful to be true, honestly. Yeah. So I think the first thing to know is that there are three big airline alliances in the world.
Yeah.
So you have, Star Alliance, which is the largest, which has, Air India, Lufthansa, Air Canada, United, etc.
Correct.
The second biggest, I think is One World, which has British Airways, American Airlines, Qatar Airways. There's no Indian airline yet, which I think is part of, One World. And then the third big alliance is SkyTeam, which the main carrier I would say is Delta in the US. And then, there's Air France, KLM, Virgin Atlantic.
Yeah.
So SAS, which is Scandinavian Airlines, is a European airline headquartered in Copenhagen. And they announced that in 2024, it's the end of 2024, that they were joining SkyTeam. The promotion they offered is that if you are a member of their loyalty program and you fly on 15 different SkyTeam airlines
Partners.
by the end of the year, and you put your SAS Scandinavian Airlines frequent flyer number on your account before you fly, then obviously, you'll earn SAS points.
Yeah.
Let's say when you fly Virgin Atlantic or Delta.
Yeah.
So, they're obviously tracking that. And the moment you hit 15, they're going to give you 1 million SAS miles, which was a good, exciting promotion
Correct.
in this world.
How did you come to know about this challenge?
Yeah, I think I don't remember exactly, but I think I maybe saw it on Frequent Miler. I think it's one of the, online forums or websites that, I just browse, and I think I just came across it.
Mhm.
Immediately, obviously the title was very eye catchy and it caught my eye. It was very intriguing. So I just started reading up about it. I had no idea what even SaaS airline was. It was the first time I was hearing about it. Yeah. So I think like that was the introduction, and I was immediately intrigued by it.
Understood. Yeah, even I read it somewhere on one of the US forums, and where I also understood about this challenge. And I think I created a group on our WhatsApp community. That's where you joined and you messaged me.
Yeah, I figured out that you were doing it on Twitter. So
Yeah.
I started following you, and then I DM'd you. And that's
Yeah.
how we got in
Yeah.
touch. I
So
started
you,
chatting over WhatsApp. Yeah.
right. Why did you take this challenge?
No, so I think, uh, the moment I, read about it, obviously I was immediately intrigued. It was fun
Mhm.
and interesting. It was like, like this game, which is a bit complicated, like the massive, jigsaw puzzle. So, it can be solved. So I think that was interesting. There was a thrilling aspect to it, definitely, right?
Yeah.
But I think mainly I did find the reward, valuable. So I thought that, the 1 million points could be worth it. So example, I started looking into, okay, how can you actually start using them? And so
Yeah.
the sweet spot that, you can fly between North America and Europe for only 50,000 SAS miles, that
Oh,
stood out as, one which can be optimized. So if you have a million of them, you can do 20 of these trips, right?
50,000 in economy or business?
Business.
Nice. So 10 round trips of business.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And so, I thought that, whether it's for me or my family, each time if you're going to India coming back, even if you don't have a separate Euro trip planned, you could still make, good use of it. And then, when I was reading about all this, I realized that, Air France KLM owns 20% stake. I remember at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And recently they, there had been a couple of airline, mergers. And so it was fresh in my mind that
Yeah.
after the merger goes through, these
Yeah.
currencies convert 1:1, right?
Yeah.
So I thought there was a lot of good upside that, if Air France KLM take majority control, it's very highly likely that EuroBonus becomes Flying Blue, like each SAS mile becomes one Air France KLM Flying Blue mile. And in which case it becomes a lot more valuable because you can use it to fly anywhere, right? So I thought that, like it's like the juice is sort of worth the squeeze, SAS miles I would conservatively value at, let's say, $10,000 if I just put 1 cent each. But
Right.
but with Flying Blue, easily I thought I could get 2 to 3 cents per mile.
Amazing. Amazing. I mean, for me, I think it is reverse as well because Flying Blue does this dynamic pricing and SAS, for the other hand, do not do that. So, for the partner airlines, I think I like it much better. Any other sweet spot do you see apart from US, Europe that caught your attention? Okay, now this is something that I would definitely do.
I think now that the Copenhagen Bombay flight is starting soon, I think that is also attractively priced, right? I think you had posted that was also 50,000 business class, maybe.
No, no, they have not posted it yet, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, I don't remember the number, but I think that would also be a decent I think
Yeah,
that would also be a decent redemption. So how I would like to use it is like use it to come to India from the US. Yeah.
I think they announced it on October 10th or something, or October 15th, and one had to complete this 15 airlines challenge by December 31st. So very little time. And you mentioned that it is a jigsaw puzzle. I would love to know what caught your eye to solve this jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I think, the way that I thought about it is that you have to hit these 15 airlines. So, obviously, we have Delta and, Aeromexico
Yeah,
in North America. Then you have a bunch of European airlines.
yeah,
Then you have a bunch of Asian airlines, right? So obviously it became clear that, you'd have to go around the world. And the most optimal way to do it is if you can, string it together in one itinerary where you don't have to backtrack or, like minimize backtracking as much as possible.
correct.
And then the other observation was that, I used tools like flightconnections.com to figure out that most of the flights, for example, operated by a particular airline are going either to or from their main home airport, right? For example, if you have to do Virgin Atlantic, you have to hit London Heathrow. You
Correct.
have to go there, or like return from there, right? If
Yeah.
you want to fly Virgin Atlantic. Similarly, with like there was this Romanian airline called Tarom, and
Yeah.
then like similarly for many, right? Like we had to fly on 15 of these.
Yeah.
So I think it became clear that you had to go to these cities. Now I think like because I'm on the West Coast,
Yeah.
it was like pretty clear. Okay, I I know that eventually my exit from West Coast will have to be to fly Virgin to London, right? There's no other way
Yeah.
to, or obviously like I could fly, let's say Air France, and
Yeah.
then take a separate Virgin flight. So that is where the jigsaw puzzle part came in, right? So I knew that okay, I have to do, let's say, North America first,
Yeah.
then Europe, then Asia, and then back to North America. But specifically which airline combination to do first, that I think, thanks to Google Flights, because I was trying to optimize for, price, efficiency, and also I wanted to limit the, the amount of time that I spent doing this because it was December when I was doing this. So yeah, that was also important.
By the way, why did you choose to do it in 9 days? I mean, was it anything that you got the tickets within 9 days, or was it like, okay, I have 10 days, I have to do whatever it is in this 9, 10 days?
No, so this was the shortest and fastest itinerary that I could come up with.
Oh, okay.
So what I ended up doing is that my sister joined me in the Europe part of the trip.
Okay.
And then I had already planned a trip with my wife separately to go to Mexico.
Okay.
And she didn't want to like do this crazy thing with me around the world. So obviously I wanted to like do it as fast as I can so that I can be home and then enjoy my vacation.
Right.
Yeah. So so like that was a like good motivation to basically be efficient.
Amazing.
Else I think like you can easily spend like 20 days flying around the world doing this. Yeah.
I think Shruti and I spent around that many days, 21 days or something, to finish that challenge altogether. Amazing. Yeah. 9 days is something crazy. How did you plan the whole trip? You said you managed to get the itinerary in 9 days. Would love to know how did you start? Did you start from your home airport, and how did you finish the Europe part? How did you land to Asia?
Yeah. So I started my trip in Vancouver, which is, this airport called YVR on the
Yeah.
West Coast. I flew to Seattle, which is, SCA
Yeah.
on Delta. And that was because, I had to do that American airline. And it was the, like a short hop, which
Got
could,
it.
I could easily get done. Then I flew to, London on Virgin Atlantic. There
Got it.
wasn't much to optimize here, pretty straightforward. Then, I told you that, my sister was joining me in Europe. So we decided to, hit all the European cities. I think here there wasn't much scope to optimize. You could have done it pretty much in any order.
Yeah.
So we went to, from London, we went to Paris, which is the CDG airport that you see here. I then remember taking a taxi to, the other Paris airport, which is very far. Then I flew to Madrid from there, and then we did, Bucharest, which is the OTP. So from OTP, which is Bucharest, I went to Copenhagen via Amsterdam on KLM.
KLM. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
And I remember that this flight that I had booked, we had an 8-hour layover in Amsterdam, and it was intentional. So we reached there in the morning, and we
okay.
had like about a good 8 hours in the day to enjoy. So we just walked around, went to nice cafes, stuff like that. So it was nice hanging out there. Then I think then we went to Milan, and that's where the European trip ended. So I think I remember doing all of this in 3 days.
Nice. So you mentioned your sister also did this. So she also did the challenge?
No. She just joined me on the Europe portion of the
Oh,
trip.
wow.
Yeah.
How sweet of her.
And then
How
she flew
sweet.
back to New York. Yeah.
Oh, so she stays in US.
Yeah, she stays in New York. Yeah. That's why it was easier for her because she also took a Virgin Atlantic flight, if I remember, to go to.
Oh, so
No, I
she
don't
could
remember like what she flew, but yeah, she wasn't trying to do the challenge. Yeah.
she
She
could have.
accompanied me on the Europe portion. Yeah. So bunch of random flying for her.
Nice, nice, nice. And I'm sure you didn't book everything in one PNR.
No, I did not book everything obviously in one PNR. I tried to I booked most of them individually, either on the airline website or I went to Google Flights and tried to book it from there. One thing to sort of call out is that there was a SAS rule that the flight had to be in a eligible points earning class.
Oh, yeah,
So you
correct.
could not use points, for example, to make the reservation. It had to be,
Yeah,
a revenue fare.
correct,
And it's not like all fare classes are allowed. So like
correct.
for some airlines, I don't remember which ones now, the
Yeah.
basic economy tier, for example, was not eligible. So you had to make sure to book at least main cabin.
Zyman was one of that naughty airline. Basic economy fares were not included and
Yeah.
cost was going up.
So I think, one thing that, we all were doing is, we were always either checking these online groups, or we were, like checking Flyer Talk. And
Yeah.
one tip which was useful was that if you use Expedia, you
Uh-huh.
can see the fare code very clearly, whether it's,
Oh,
I fare class, or, R fare class, or whatever, one of those letter codes is. And
right.
to a normal person, they don't make any sense otherwise. It was only for the purpose of this challenge that you were trying to figure out, okay, what code am I trying, like what fare class am I actually booking into?
You booked all the tickets through Expedia, is it?
No, 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 not all of them. Some like I booked from wherever I could find the best deal.
Best deal, yeah.
Sometimes it was, clearly the airline website. For Virgin Atlantic, for example, I
Mhm.
know that even basic economy was part of the earning classes.
Uh-huh.
So I just booked it from the cheapest,
Got
like deal that I could find. Right. So I had no hesitation in using a random third party aggregator type of website to make
it.
the
Yeah.
booking, because I knew that, irrespective of what fare class they give me, it's going to be counted in the challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. Got it.
I think I used Expedia for maybe a couple of the Chinese airlines, and
Okay.
maybe Air Europa, I think, is another one where I struggled a little bit, I think, to find the right fare class.
Understood.
Because there were like a bunch of really cheap Air Europa flights, but I don't think all of them earned SAS miles.
Oh, yeah. I think they had something called Air Europa Express or something, which had some confusion whether they are eligible or not.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
that
yeah.
was something about it. Yeah, got it. So, how much gap did you keep in the Europe segment between the two flights you flew? Was it like more than 2 hours, 3 hours, or was it?
Yeah, so I tried to be so I put a gap wherever I wanted to spend time. So like in Amsterdam, I wanted to get out, so I took a longer layover there, more like 8 hours. I said Madrid, was just an overnight, just because of the flight timing. So I just like there was no conscious choice to spend time there.
Mhm.
Similarly, Copenhagen, I think we had 5 or 6 hours, something like that, so that enough time to get out and do something. But yeah, I think what I made sure is that every night I had a bed to sleep in. So it's not like I was, randomly stranded at, you know,
Airport. Yeah.
at airports, because, otherwise it's not fun. So yeah, I think I booked one night in Madrid, one in Bucharest, and then one in Copenhagen. In Bucharest, by the way, the airport location is amazing because the main attraction is Thermes Bucharest, which is this massive spa-like thermal bath experience, which is
Oh,
pretty fun. And it's that's like the main thing that I want to do. So it
okay.
worked out pretty well because we landed at night and it's open till like 4 a.m.
Wow.
And then
Okay.
we went there and then crashed, and then in the morning we were back at the airport to fly out.
Oh,
So it
nice.
worked out well.
I think we had only couple of hours. I think 2 hours in Bucharest. So we didn't do anything much over there. By the way, in Europe, did you miss any flights or anything, or was it all good?
Yeah. So this trip that I'm saying, yeah, this was my planned trip, but yeah, there's one
Eh?
flight that I missed. So I missed my ORY, which is the second airport in Paris, the flight from there to Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
But um, what I was able to do is like that was Air Europa. So there was a 2.5 hour layover in Paris, which I knew was gonna be tight.
Okay.
And but my incoming flight was delayed, and then it took me a long time and to just for my Uber to arrive, and then an even longer time for me to
Reach.
travel from, Charles de Gaulle Airport to
Oh,
Orly Airport, and I missed that flight. But then I booked. Thankfully, it was not the last flight of the day. So there was an Iberia flight soon after
okay.
that, which I ended up flying on. So I went to Madrid,
Okay.
and then the next day morning, early morning at 6 a.m. or something, I booked a separate complete itinerary, a
Okay.
Madrid to Barcelona round trip. Otherwise, I had missed Air Europa.
Air
Yeah,
Europa.
so that was like one sort of big glitch which happened. Ended
Mm.
up costing me like a little bit of money, but yeah,
But
all
man,
good.
how did you keep 2.5 hours between the two airports? And it is not the same airport. You had to
No,
travel by.
it was a conscious call. There was not I had no other option basically. I was prepared that I could miss one flight, which is why I was ending this trip. I'm going to come to it. I was ending this trip in LA, and
Okay.
then after this, what you don't see on the map is I flew LA to Cancun to begin my Mexico trip,
Uh,
which was on Aero Mexico. So that was supposed to be like my ultimate backup.
back.
A flight. During the trip, what happened is that because I missed this one fairly early, and like fairly early in my trip, like I still had to go to Middle East and then Asia, China. So I thought that no, because Madrid to Barcelona was only like $30 one way. Thought it's not a expensive one to make up. I just sat in the same plane, landed, went back, went outside, literally came back right inside. The air hostess even recognized me, and then we flew back to
Oh,
Madrid.
really?
She asked me, like what's up? So I told her that I have to meet someone to give some documents because I didn't want to explain anything.
Interesting.
From Europe, I think one of the airlines was Saudi Airlines, and so I knew that that is going to be the right, flight to take, obviously, to go from Europe to Asia to
Good.
continue the trip. So I I booked Milan to Jeddah to Jakarta,
Okay.
all in Saudi. That was like one hell of a long flight,
Okay.
all the way from Jeddah to Jakarta.
How far was it? 9 hours? 8 hours?
No, I think it was like 13 hours or something.
Oh, that long. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And then from in Jakarta, I had read online that the immigration could be a bit slow, so I had kept a lot of time. I had kept like not a lot, but like in comparison, I mean, I think I had kept like over 3 hours or something.
Okay.
But then again, my incoming flight got a bit delayed, and so
Okay.
there was this express service which I had booked through Klook, where
Okay.
somebody comes and tries to fast track you through
And greet time.
immigration, and yeah, it's like a meet and greet service where they fast track you from immigration
Okay.
and then try to put you onto your next flight. So that lady helped me a little bit, but
Okay.
ultimately I still had to run in the Jakarta airport. By the time I reached to my final gate, I realized that that flight is like not even arrived, and like, but like you had no idea that was going to happen. So I was like running for my life at that point. Yeah, but it was fun. Yeah.
How much time did you have after you got out of the aircraft and then to the next aircraft? Was it like 1 hour, 2 hours?
I think I had somewhere between 1 and maybe 1.5 hours. Yeah.
And was it rush at the immigration? I
Yeah,
mean,
it was. Yeah, there was a big rush at immigration, so I'm glad I used that service. By the
wow.
way, the airport is pretty big. Like you have to walk quite a bit just to get out, and then after getting out, you have to come back in. It's not like Bangkok or
Yes.
Dubai where you can
Mm.
just transfer to your next flight, right? You have to complete immigration. There is transfers, but thankfully, I still applied for the Indonesia visa, and I
Oh, okay.
did end up using it because you do have to get out of the airport. What I
Oh,
read online was that yes, they are supposed to guide you to a separate transfer desk, etc.
yeah.
It's a very convoluted process. They have no idea. They'll like somebody will basically go into a room, come back 15 minutes later, take you to another room. It's like
Oh,
very complicated. So easiest if you have the Indonesia visa. Yeah.
got it. Got it. So you took that and the fast track service that helped you get into the next aircraft pretty early.
Yes. Yeah. And then
Amazing.
I continued, like my trip. One of the flights that I remember we all had to do was Kenya Airways. The hack to do Kenya Airways without going to Kenya
Yeah.
was to fly, I think it was Bangkok to Guangzhou, which is a very random route, but it's
Oh,
flown by, Kenya Airways. All of us, sort of flew that.
yeah.
But like it was nice to have that because that provided the anchor for the Asia part of the trip because you knew that you had to
Yeah.
make it to Bangkok and then you have to, and that will be a way to enter China.
Correct.
So
Correct.
it's good to have one or two constraints like that because it simplifies the linear programming problem that you're trying to solve.
Amazing the way you put it. So basically, what Divyam is trying to say is Kenya Airways was one of the airline that we had to do for this challenge to complete. And Kenya Airways being based out of Nairobi, which is in South Africa, we were trying to avoid going to Africa, because the more you travel to the places where you don't want to, you are increasing the cost unnecessarily for the entire trip. And typically what happens is, some of the airlines have fifth freedom route. Now fifth freedom route is basically they don't fly from their home airport to the next destination. They fly from a different country or a different city other than their home airport. So this flight which Divyam is talking about, the flight starts from Nairobi, ends at Bangkok. Then they do one more leg. It does not return from Bangkok to Nairobi. It goes to Guangzhou in China, then comes back from China, Guangzhou to Bangkok, and then Bangkok to Nairobi. So since the challenge was like you have to take one flight of these airlines, everyone was trying to either do the Bangkok to Guangzhou flight or the return leg from Guangzhou to Bangkok. This was one of the way to avoid going to Africa. Did you meet anyone on the flight?
Yeah, I met a lot of people there who were sort of, we were all, like either in the lounge or we were, hanging out like near a gate. So yeah, we started chatting, and I think I met people, during my trip, at several airports, and,
Oh, wow.
there were people in the, for example, at the Bangkok transfer desk, like I met a Korean guy who was
Oh,
also doing it. So everyone had a interesting story.
yeah.
And then, I continued on to China. In China, again, the airlines were, Xiamen Airlines, China Airlines, and, you know, and then the last one was Korean Air, I remember. So, I just strung these together. I remember the trick here was to use trip.com to book the tickets. That seemed to be the best source.
Okay.
And then, obviously I needed an airline to fly back to the US, and Korean Air turned out to be perfect because they fly, Seoul to LA, which is
Yeah.
where I, ended my trips.
All this whole 9 days trip, did you do all in economy?
Yes, everything in economy. I
Amazing.
did try to upgrade myself for the um, Saudi Arabia to Jakarta portion, which was the longest flight that I took, direct flight that I took during the trip.
Yeah.
But the cost was really prohibitive. I remember I placed an upgrade for like $400. I think I went up as much to $600.
Okay.
But I read online that you like sometimes they do clear for that price, but I think it went for more than $1,000. So the whole thing was flying economy.
Amazing. Amazing. So, if I may ask, how much did it cost to you to complete this challenge?
The flights itself cost me slightly over $3,000. That includes the missed flight in Europe and then the recovery
Okay. Okay.
on the Air Europa round trip. And then for hotels, actually, I've never calculated because I used a mix of points and or hotel credits or free night certificates to book
Okay.
the hotels. Yeah, I never actually got down to figuring out the hotel part.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Got it.
obviously, like there were expenses along the way, right? Like
Yeah, of course. Food,
like
that.
food and drinks, and because you're vacationing, because you're also out and about. So yeah, any of those expenses.
Yeah.
I guess it cost me maybe you could add another 1,000 to 1,500 for other
Got it.
expenses, let's say.
Got it. Got it. So around $4,000 or
Easy. Yeah,
$4,500
easy, I think. Yeah.
with the entire challenge. So that is around 4 lakh rupees. And you value the SAS points as 1 cent. So
At a
10.
minimum of 1 cent, my normal base case value would be 1.5 cents. So
Got it.
worth $15,000. But if they become Air France KLM Flying Blue Miles, which I hope they will, because Air France KLM announced that they acquired a majority stake.
Yeah, they did.
So I value Air France miles at 2 cents at least, because, for example, just last week,
Mhm.
I booked a flight Vancouver to Bombay for my wife in business class
Okay.
for only 100,000 miles and $200 in taxes and fees.
Oh,
That's a pretty phenomenal price, because the cash price of that is like upwards of $5,000.
of course. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You get deals like that, you can make the miles go a lot further.
So, Divyam, how did you manage visas?
Yeah. So, I stay in the US, so I have a US visa. I
Yes.
also have a Canada a permanent residency.
Okay.
And
Amazing.
I also already have a 5-year Schengen visa. So that really helped, because a lot of the European countries, obviously Schengen is the biggest pain, right?
True, true,
So
true.
thankfully was spared that.
Got
And
it.
then the only visa that I remember I had to do a process for was for China. So
Okay.
I remember filling out a form online, then going to the embassy, submitting my passport, going later, a week or 2 weeks later to collect it back. So like there was that whole process.
Okay.
Apart from that, I think Indonesia I applied online,
Yeah.
Vietnam I applied online, I remember. So it was pretty straightforward.
Okay.
China was the only one where I had to do a visa
Do some
process.
legwork. Ah, okay.
Yes. When I was entering all these countries, a lot of times, sometimes, I didn't need the visa because if you have a US visa, then you don't need it. Or if you have a Canada PR, then you don't need it. So yeah, that
Yeah.
helped in some
Got it.
countries.
Got it. Got it. Anywhere, did anyone ask you maybe at the immigration, why are you flying so much? I mean, you were just hopping airports. You're not visiting city, just entering and exiting. Anything?
Yeah. So what happened is that in China was another very hectic part of my, trip where I really tried to max it out. So I entered China in Guangzhou, then I
Okay.
exited and took a train to Hong Kong. Then I
Okay.
flew to Taipei
Okay.
and I flew back from Taipei to Xiamen.
Okay.
So I entered and exited China twice in like 24 hours. And the second time when I was entering, this guy says, "Hey, but you just came to, Guangzhou earlier in the morning. What are you doing why are you coming back?" So
Yeah.
then, I explained to him that, I'm doing this challenge and I'm taking all these flights. So yes, I came to Guangzhou, but then I went to Hong Kong, then I went to Taipei. And then he's like, "You went to Hong Kong and Taipei on the same day? And you're back?" So that was a pretty hilarious exchange with that immigration gentleman in China.
I'm glad he didn't ask any further.
Yeah,
Otherwise, explaining this challenge is the hardest part to anyone.
yeah, definitely.
I mean, what are these guys doing? By the way, around 100 plus Chinese took this challenge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, maximum was US people, around 170,
You know how
180.
many Indians?
I am not sure, but I think it is less than 10. I
Okay.
know at least 4 or 5 of them who did the challenge from India. SAS declared top 10
Oh,
numbers, and 20 was the 10th or something.
got it.
So it is less than 20 for sure. India was not in the top 10 for sure. So that is how I know at least less than 20.
Yeah.
Amazing. Any hiccups you figured in the way, or I mean any experiences you want to share? Any good,
No,
bad,
I think
anything?
hiccups, I think thankfully there weren't too many, and I already shared the one
Uh,
where I missed my flight, and then yeah, there was no other hiccup. I think what I enjoyed the most was, I think in terms of flying, I think China Airlines was a cute little airline, which I figured they have these Pokemon branded merchandise, and seeing those Pikachu pillows was really fun.
yeah, very
Yeah.
true. Very true.
Even those glasses had Pokemons in them, so I think it brought out the kid in me. It was fun.
Yeah.
And then in general, I think, yeah, the favorite part of traveling always is getting to share it with people. So the
Yeah.
fact that my sister joined me on the Europe part, and that was fun. And then towards the end of the trip, obviously I went to Cancun to chill with my wife. That was amazing. And then like that's where I met you as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, so we should come to that as well. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that was one thing I couldn't imagine we did, because I casually messaged you that, dude, I just landed in Cancun and we were, we have around 2-3 days over here. Where are you? And I think you replied that was I am also in Cancun.
yeah. Yeah, I think we met up at a bar that same night that you landed in Cancun.
Yeah,
I was staying there I had been staying there, I think, for a bit longer.
yeah.
Um, and I think you were still doing your SAS Euromoney.
Yeah,
You were still doing the challenge. Yeah.
we did not finish it by then. Yeah. We had a week, since we are going so far to Mexico. We thought we will take a break of 7 days, 5 days at least in Mexico. So we spent couple of days in Mexico City, and then we came to Cancun, and that's where I messaged you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think my favorite experience of all, like, I think during the trip it was the Thermes Bucharest, which was
Yeah.
amazing. Everybody should go there once.
Okay.
And I think the second most amazing thing was, when we took that trip to, see what was it?
One of the seven wonders, right? Chichen Itza. Yeah, Chichen Itza.
the cenote,
That
that
was amazing.
and that was an amazing experience swimming, in those.
Yeah. I mean, it was so chilled water.
A very unique experience. Yeah, it's not like going into like going to a beach and then going into the
Yeah.
water. It's going into the water, but it's very different.
Have you burned any points yet out of that
No,
1
I
million?
hate myself for that. I have 1,008,000 or so miles in my
Okay.
account, and I haven't had the right opportunity actually. I've not been traveling as much, and
Okay.
hopefully once the Copenhagen Bombay route starts,
Yeah.
then it can make it a lot more seamless. So I did explore flying to Copenhagen while on the way to India
Okay.
and using my miles just to fly to Copenhagen and then booking a separate flight. The timing doesn't add up. So all the flights from Copenhagen are this like, creating like a 12-hour or 14-hour layover. There's
Okay.
no like, I cannot book a separate, there's no way to add a smooth trip to India or back.
Got it.
The flights are just not there. So
Did you not find any partner at airline? I mean, Air France.
I have not found SAS to be good in terms of partner
Okay.
availability. Also, I think when I fly from US to India or back, Aeroplan or Life Miles in general have such good availability because especially if you're looking for two people, you can book like one through Air India and then one through Aeroplan.
True.
Because they only release one business or first class, Air India.
Yeah.
If you book through Life Miles or Aeroplan, so that's the best way to book if you want to book only one.
Yeah.
But if I need two seats, then I generally book one through Air India and then one through that.
Understood.
So I think once my stash of Aeroplan miles run out, then maybe these SAS miles will get some love.
Good thing about that is they are valid till 2029.
Only 3 years.
That I agree. We have 1 million points to burn, but I think 2, 3 business class trips, US, India, and you are done.
Yeah. And I think if they convert to Flying Blue, it will make it a lot more easier.
Yeah, a lot more
So,
easier.
yeah.
Agreed.
I'm not complaining.
Even West Coast to East Coast in Delta business class should be good, right?
It's very
25,000.
hard, almost impossible to find. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Delta doesn't release that many. I mean, at least I haven't had good luck. Also, I haven't found a good search tool to search for SAS partner flights. Most of these online tools, right, like Seats.aero or Points, they
That
search
is,
SAS operated flights. For
yeah,
partner flights, you have to go to their portal, and
yeah,
I've looked, for my specific case, just checking.
yeah.
But because I've never found anything, I don't think I search as much, to be honest.
I think we should try to figure out on Flying Blue and then see if the same flight is there or not.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So I generally check on Delta itself, actually.
Okay. Okay.
Because Delta has the calendar award
Yeah.
availability. You can see for the whole month and then keep going on.
Yeah.
But every time I've found availability on Delta and then checked on SAS, I haven't found it. Yeah.
By the way, after your trip, how tired were you?
I would say I was more tired during one or two parts of the trip than towards the end of the trip. So, for example, when I was doing the whole Europe thing, I remember when I took that last Europe flight from like Milan to Jeddah. It was really tiring, and I had a 4 or 5 hour layover that I was trying to kill a time in the layover,
Uh-huh.
in the lounge, sorry, in Jeddah. And then I had to get on this massive, 13-hour flight to Jakarta.
Okay.
That I was very tired at that point. And the second day, I think, time when I was really tired was when I was in, I think, Seoul, and I was just waiting for my final flight of the trip, the last flight of the trip back to LA. And that was also a pretty long flight. Yeah. So those two moments, I was really tired. But once I landed in LA, met my wife, and then we went to Mexico, I wasn't tired at all.
And you also had a cushion of Aero Mexico.
Yes. Yeah.
But you didn't have to use it actually.
Yeah, I didn't have to use it, but I'm glad that I had that, because had something else gone wrong when I was in China or something, there was no way to like go back and correct it. Like I was able to fix the Air Europa thing, but yeah, I was willing to give up one airline if something went wrong and then still be able to continue.
I mean, if one is spending so much money flying all these, and then if you miss one of that, it will be terrible. To
Yeah,
miss
it's
million.
especially if you're playing the long term game, like I was, because I was confident that they will convert to Air France KLM at some point, which are much more valuable to me. So I was happy to take that bet.
Amazing. Yeah, I think you not missing. I mean, you missed one flight, but you could manage it. But otherwise, even after that tight schedule of 9 days and flying around 40,000 odd kilometers. It is amazing. Was any of your flight in Asia got late?
No, actually, I think I had pretty good luck overall. Maybe a little bit hit, like ordinary stuff, like 15, 30 minutes maybe. But I
Mhm.
don't remember anything happening. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very lucky of you that you could do it within 9 days, this entire trip. And I can imagine how
By the way,
tiring.
theoretically, I found a way to do it in 7 days as well. Yeah. I had some dates I had to optimize for, and so the flights didn't line up. But
Okay.
I was trying to build, oh, is there a faster way? So there was. I mean, you could cut because remember I told you that I spent every night in a hotel. If
Yeah.
you let go of that principle, then you can shrink that even further.
Where did you plan this whole thing? I mean, did you use any tool, or how did you go about it?
I use Google Flights, my favorite tool. It has amazing features. You can put a origin and
Yeah.
then not put any destination, just explore. Second, I would say was flight connections.
Yeah.
I didn't use any points flights, obviously. Otherwise, I think the search award tools would have been helpful, but not in this case.
Yeah.
And then lastly, all of this planning was just Google Sheets.
But all your bookings, which credit card did you use?
I used the Chase Sapphire Reserve.
Okay. And how many points did you earn on that $3,000 odd worth of?
Yeah, it's just like for every $1 you earn 3 points.
Oh, $1, 3 points. So you earned for $3,000, you earned 9,000 miles or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. So 9,000 miles.
Which is a good return for the US, but I know it in India the return numbers are going crazy. So
Yeah, they are. They are.
how much did you earn back?
We also spend around 4 lakh rupees, 4.5 lakh rupees per person. And we earned around 25,000 miles or something. Yeah. About that. About
Yeah,
that.
so like minimum double the rate of US. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we have this Access Atlas card in India, which gives you like 5x returns. 5x points if you book it through airline website. And for this challenge, since we had to look into that cabin class, which you are booking, because I just booked everything on the airline website. And
Yeah.
try to, do anything with the OTAs at all. Didn't want to risk the entire trip. So that is how I did it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Not worth it.
Not worth it.
Yeah, I was saying that, overall, I think it was commendable of SAS to think of this promo and, be so creative about it.
Yeah.
What's the one airline that you wish does a million miles similar promo? Button seat flying to get a million miles.
I think I would like 2 airlines to do it. One is JAL, because the JAL mileage bank points are amazing if you can use it wisely. And the other would be Aeroplan, Starlines. Something in Starlines is needed because we have Air India in India, so we can use it. I think connectivity of Starlines is amazing compared to other alliances because they have a lot of airlines. So one of the Starlines members should do it is my hope. I think Turkish also tried it in between, but they revoked it midway. They put up this 1 million challenge, if you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? Which one do you want?
I think similar answer. I would pick Air Canada because I think they have the max amount of partners, not just Star Alliance, but they also have a lot of other partners and for which you can use your miles. So I think, in general, their miles are pretty valuable.
Yeah. This challenge was completed by 900 people. So 900 million points
Yeah.
were offered by SAS, and definitely commendable because you are giving out so many points to people around the world.
I think very smart of them because I think they easily made a mark for themselves with this promotion and
Yeah.
people know about it. And I think what they got in terms of, awareness building was definitely worth it because if you pay 900 million miles, if you value it at, let's say from the customer perspective at 1 cent, that's like $9 million, right?
Yeah.
But for the airline, the cost is what, like let's say 0.3 cents. So it's more like $3 million, right?
Correct.
So you're spending $3 million and getting a bunch of publicity, bunch of travel websites are, gonna write about you. Hundreds of people will engage with you and post on Twitter, and people like us will chat about it on podcasts. So
Yeah, true.
definitely worth it.
Very true. Very true. And what I figured also was since they were transiting from Starlines to SkyTeam, they had this hiccups. If you remember, a couple of airlines did not even have SAS as a member at the drop down to select the frequent flyer number. So I think people might have asked the airlines to include it, and maybe they have fixed couple of integration challenges as well by doing this campaign. I remember at one of the airport in China, they didn't even know what is SAS. They made a mark by doing this challenge, by everyone talking about them. So you're right.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Interesting way to smoothen out all your IT bugs
IT bug.
and make sure that you've ironed out the integration with other SkyTeam partners.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Amazing, man. Thanks. Thank you very much for your time. It was great learning about your 9-day trip. I hope you burn those points very well. Take your family, take your wife to somewhere, maybe in India. Once you are in India, let's catch up. But thank you very much once again and have a lovely day ahead.
Thanks, Pranav. Great chatting with you. Bye.
Thank